So, good afternoon folks, Grandpa Cavendish here, and welcome to another edition of In the Kitchen with Grandpa. Sorry it's taken so long to put up another video, but you know, it's been the summer and I haven't been doing a heck of a lot of indoor cooking. So, today what we have for you is chopped steak Diane, okay? So, not the traditional steak Diane, which would have been made with a New York strip, but I'm using a chuck steak, and I'm going to grind it first. So it's going to be a chopped steak, made Diane style. And of course, this was a recipe that was very famous in New York City. It originated in New York City, in the restaurants there during the 50s, I believe. And today, it's not really served much anymore because this was something made tableside in the restaurant. And of course, that's a kind of a little bit of a fire hazard and a bit of a production, so it's not done much anymore except at the 21 Club, which is the only restaurant I think still serving it in New York. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this chuck steak and we're going to cut it up, and as you can see, this is a nice one. It's a prime chuck steak. So it's got some good fat in here, and I'm looking to produce, you know, like a chopped steak with about 20% fat, because that'll make it nice and tender and juicy. So I'm going to cut this up a bit to some cubes here, and then I'm going to run it through my grinder. So I'll put this into more manageable size pieces. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's fire up the grinder, and we'll run some of this through. There we go. As you can see there, we're starting to get the meat through. Put a couple of more pieces in there. So this should be a nice chopped steak. Look at that. That's going to look good when it's plated up, because this will be a nice, tasty chopped steak. Okay folks, so I'm just going to continue to do this and finish it off, and then we'll get back to you when it's time for the actual cooking. Alright, so stay with me. Alright, so I thought it would be nice to complement this Manhattan dining experience, you might say, since we've been talking Steak Diane and the 21 Club, we'd make a couple of Manhattans, alright? So we're going to do that here now. We've got, in this particular case, a little Scotch whiskey here, which I will add in, and some red vermouth, so the sweet style. A little bit of that will go in. And I see I've forgotten something, which is the bitters. So we need the bitters when we make
over here, Ed.
Oh, we've got it over here. There's our bitters, so we'll put in a little bitters in there. A couple of splashes of that. And give it a shake up. And there we go. We've got our glasses ready. So we'll pour off our Manhattan cocktail here. That should do it, and of course we finish it off with the maraschino cherry. All right. So we'll sit down and relax for a few minutes before we get to the cooking. We'll wish you a nice Saturday evening, and l'chaim. Alrighty folks, so I made the chopped steaks here, and now I'm just going to season them with some salt and some pepper. Alright, and then I've preheated my skillet over here, and I'm going to use a little avocado oil in there, so it's nice and hot, as you can see from that smoke. And in will go our chopped steaks. There we go. So we're going to let these bad boys fry for a little while, and then stay with me, we'll finish it off. Alrighty, I've taken out our chopped steaks. They're all cooked about medium rare at this point. And what I've got here is a little finely diced shallot, which I'm going to put into the pan. There is some nice drippings in there from the beef, so I'm going to stir fry these in there a little bit for about a minute or so and give them some cooking time. And I'll put this, let's see, over here for a moment. So I'll get some fire going under there. So that's our shallot, minced shallot. Cook that a bit, and now for the what you call pièce de résistance, right? The show part. So as I said, this is a little untraditional because we're using a chop steak. Normally this would be done tableside with a rather thin filet mignon, say, or New York strip. So they're going to be at the tableside in the restaurant. And the captain, of course, would be doing this right next to your table. So you'd have a little hot plate there, I suppose. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to take some safety precautions here, of course, because we don't want to burn anything up. So we're going to turn off our fire. We're going to take some brandy here, and we're going to flambe this. Whoa! We've got some action there, right? So that's what you call flambe. So this would be done at the tableside in the restaurant. And of course that's the big show part. Now I'm also going to let that die down a bit before I put my fire back on, but as you can see I'm deglazing my pan there. So now we're safe, we can put the fire back on. And I've got some nice thinly sliced mushrooms, we're going to put those in. I'm going to use a little tomato paste in here, maybe a teaspoon of tomato paste. And we're going to fry this in a little bit. It's always good to fry in your tomato paste into the fat because that'll give it a nice flavor. So we'll fry that in there along with these mushrooms that we've got. Okay, and we've got our fire going, good. Now I've got some Dijon mustard here. So I'm going to go in there with a little Dijon mustard, about a tablespoon. No, less than a tablespoon, more like a teaspoon. A little Dijon mustard in there. Kind of mix that in a bit. I think I'll switch off to my wooden spoon at this point. So mix this in with those mushrooms. Oh yeah, I can smell that already. That smells good. And now we've got a little bit of beef stock. This is about a half cup of beef stock. So we'll go in there with that. And now, let this cook a bit. Oh yes, that's starting to look nice. That's what we're looking for, a nice deep flavored sauce there. Looking good, looking good. Okay, and I happen to be at my garden today, and we've got some nice fresh sage that I picked. So I'm going to throw in a few of these fresh sage leaves too, just to give it a little extra boost on the flavor.
Sounds weird when you say you're at your garden. You should explain that.
I have an organic garden in Huntington, so we grow vegetables and things over there, and that's what's going on over there. We have basil, tomatoes, eggplants, a lot of stuff like that. So now, what goes in here is some heavy cream. We've got some heavy cream here. So we're going to put in some heavy cream. Mix that in. And this is what's going to make this wonderful sauce for this kind of faux steak Diane in a way. Okay, so that goes in. Now we can return our steak to the pan. Our chopped steaks, I should say. And we'll put in any juice that's there. And now just finish these off in this sauce. We can turn it down a little bit lower here and just finish it off. And we'll be plating it up momentarily, so I'll finish cooking and then we'll be right back. Alrighty everyone, there we have it. That's our chopped steak Diane, all ready to be plated up. It should be cooked nicely. I think it'll be medium at this point. So what I've got here to serve it with, I've got some sauteed spinach. Right there, some nice sauteed spinach. And a baked potato. Got a baked potato to go with it. And now we'll take our chopped steak out of there. Put that on the plate. And of course, top it off with that steak Diane sauce, right? With the mushrooms and the shallots. Put some of that over the top. And there we have it, our chopped steak Diane dinner for Saturday night. So hope you enjoyed this, folks. I'll put this down to let my wife enjoy it, and we'll sit down and have ourselves a dinner. All right? Take care, everybody. Grandpa Cavendish here, signing off for now. Be well.